Hello and welcome to this exclusive interview by ET Insights. In this conversation, we will deep dive into leadership, innovation, and challenge convention. I have a very special guest with me today. Please welcome IS Vijay Kumar, Chairman, Inland Waterways Authority of India. So, very welcome to this conversation. It's a pleasure to host this conversation with you. Asking my first question to you, how does Inland Waterways Authority of India's strategy align with the Maritime India Vision of 2030?
Inland waterways, as I already explained in my presentation also, we are to national waterways what NHI is to national highways. So our job, our strategy is to develop infrastructure all along the waterways, which basically means to provide the fairway. That means we continuously dredge the rivers to provide the requisite draft, the depth required for vessels to navigate. We provide infrastructure on the waterways. We develop terminals. We develop number of multimodal terminals on the waterways. One is at Varanasi, then at Sahibganj, then in Haldia. And we also provide navigational aids, which facilitate the movement of ships and vessels on the waterways in the day and at night. So the Maritime India Vision, it calls for certain number of waterways to be operationalized by 2030, by 2047. We've already exceeded those targets. About a decade ago, the number of operational waterways in the country was only 3. In the last 10 years, we have operationalized 29 national waterways. Our cargo growth, it has increased. Our cargo on the national waterways, it used to be about 18 million metric tons in 2013 and 14. This has increased by 8 times. Now we are carrying 145 million metric tons. So the targets set by Maritime India Vision, the targets set up by Maritime Amritkal Vision, all these targets in terms of operationalization of waterways, in terms of cargo growth, in terms of modal shift, we are moving faster and we will be able to, in fact, overshoot these targets within the next 3 to 4 years.
And what policies and reforms have been pivotal in this growth?
So, one major focus has been on ensuring the participation of the private sector in the movement of cargo on the national waterways. So last year only we came up with a scheme called Jal Vahak. Jal Vahak scheme has 2 components. So one component is structured on the Marco Polo scheme in Europe, where they provided 35% subsidy on shifting of cargo from road and rail to the waterways. And the primary reason is, while the movement on the waterways is the cheapest in terms of per ton kilometer cost, but the cost of first mile, the cost of last mile connectivity makes it more expensive to begin with. This strategy was adopted by Europe also. As the first component of the Jal Vahak scheme, we are providing 35% subsidy on modal shift of cargo from railroad to waterways. So 35% of the cost incurred on the waterway movement is being subsidized by government. So this is supposed to lead to shift of cargo in terms of ton kilometers, about 1.8 billion ton kilometers to our national waterways. Second, to demonstrate the readiness of our waterways, that we can move cargo over long distances, we are also running scheduled services. These services start from Kolkata, they go up to Patna, they go up to Varanasi, and they come back. They go from Kolkata to Assam in Pandu through Bangladesh and again come back. So these ships are provided by us. They are running continuously and they provide cargo movement as a demonstration on the same cost and rail and road. So the basic idea is that while we are creating infrastructure, the policy environment also facilitates the movement of cargo on the waterways. Also increase participation of private sector on the waterways. We have come up with what we call Jal Smriddhi. Under this scheme, the private companies, the private investors, they can set up their infrastructure on the national waterways. They only have to apply through a digital portal, faceless, seamless process. And already private sector is setting up jetties on the national waterways through this process. So overall, the policy environment is very conducive, and I think we have already reached an inflection point in terms of infrastructure on the waterways when the private sector can come in and start the cargo movement.
So the world is talking about AI. Are you incorporating AI in your operations when we talk about inland waterways?
Yeah. So we are already on it. I think in today's age, it's not possible to move faster, to move further unless you incorporate AI in your planning. So we are using AI tools for creation of our DPRs, for setting up terminals, for setting up jetties. That is where to set up an infrastructure. A lot of data is fed in the system, and then the AI tools are going to tell us which sites, which locations are best for setting up jetties. They also include information from Gati Shakti program also and our own data also.
How are you bridging the gap in rural India? And did you face any challenge when you incorporated inland waterways with other modes of transport?
One of the key component of what we are doing on Ganga is called Earth Ganga. It's called basically Jal Marg Vikas Project 2. It's a part of Earth Ganga, a concept given by our Honorable Prime Minister, where we integrate rivers into the rural communities, where we ensure that the river becomes a part of economic contribution of the day-to-day life. So under this program, we are setting up 60 jetties all along the river from UP to West Bengal. So these jetties, they are used by the local communities for transportation of their goods, for movement across the river banks, and they are hugely popular. Already we have a footfall of about 1 lakh persons per day on this community jetties. So this is a part of integration of our local communities with the waterways.
My last question is there any lesson the world can learn from India?
Yes, the lesson to world from India would be our rivers, they're alluvial in nature and they carry lot of siltation. In fact, the amount of siltation which our river carries is about 5 to 10 times that of rivers in Europe. Despite that, we have been able to make our waterways functional. We have been able to make our waterways operational. I think there is a huge learning for the rest of the world. And the way we have tackled this whole thing without creating any artificial obstruction on the rivers. For example, when we develop our waterway on Ganga, the concept is Aviral Ganga. So we have not created artificial structures or barrages on the river. We have used the existing river. We have preserved the pristine form of the river. So the lesson there is how to preserve the rivers in their pristine form, in their natural form, because rivers are also sacred in India, and still make them economically viable.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining us on this conversation and highlight the India's maritime vision. It was lovely to host you. Thank you.